new day dawns on the land of Israel. A day of promise in a land of faith and history. Flying over Israel by helicopter, we gain a unique new perspective as past and present reveal themselves. In just a few minutes, we experience a tremendous variety of natural and human treasures. In this land of spirit, every flight brings new adventure, new discoveries. This is how our aerial Odyssey begins. From snow-capped peaks to desert wastes, from rolling hills to barren plateaus, to crystalline seas, Israel, the Holy Land, soars beyond imagination. It's a sliver of land and sky where light and shadow collide. A land where contradictions coexist through lack of choice and lack of space. As old as time, as new as tomorrow, the land reveals itself in an ever-changing maze of shapes and colors. Shrines of faith share the landscape with symbols of earthly power. Flying across Israel takes only minutes, but the views can last a lifetime. Israel's Mediterranean coastline is history's port of call. For countless eons, sands from the distant Nile have washed up upon these beaches. Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans once moored their boats along them. Contemporary cities share the shore with ancient relatives. Alongside Tel Aviv, Jaffa, from where it is written Jonah set out to sea and was swallowed by a whale. Modern Haifa with its deep water port. And about 20 miles to the south, the ruins of the ancient Roman port city of Caesarea. From then until now, the Mediterranean has always been the window to this land and its gateway to the world. Flying into the Negev desert is like falling off the edge of the earth, traveling into the unknown like the explorers of old. These burning sands cover about half of Israel's landmass. As an ancient psalmist wrote, "There is nothing hid from the heat thereof." Yet the wilderness is dotted with life, remnants of the people who hacked out an existence in these harsh climes. Like the mysterious Nabateans, whose endless caravans carried precious spices from the east to the markets of the Mediterranean. The desert landscape is scarred by enormous craters, their walls revealing geological strata from before the dawn of time. The ancient Israelites spent 40 years wandering through the desert wastes. Like them, we journey toward a land of promise. In the Middle East, water is one of the greatest treasures of all. The giver of life, the cause of conflict, the essential ingredient in the renewal of an ancient land, the source of legend. The River Jordan sings to those who have found redemption by her muddy banks. The Sea of Galilee is known as the cradle of Christianity. Fishermen ply its waters today as they probably did 2,000 years ago. Lack of water has forced Israel to marshal it. Almost every spring, stream, and well has been surveyed, redirected, and harnessed. In this thirsty land, water has always been the key to the kingdom. From on high, the land yields up its oldest secrets, the stories of peoples who passed through, fought, conquered, lived, and prayed here. Canaanites, Israelites, Greeks, Romans, and Byzantines, Arabs, Crusaders, Turks, and more. Mysterious structures left behind by forgotten civilizations. All of them glorified the land and themselves. Since King David built the Jewish capital here 3,000 years ago, all have sought this one prize above all others: Jerusalem. As we soar above the land, some treasures lay open to our eyes. Others slowly emerge from beneath mounds of archaeological dust. Megiddo, overlooking the Jezreel Valley, site of the Christian Armageddon. The Essene Caves at Qumran, repository of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the oldest biblical manuscripts ever found. Herodian, the hidden palace of King Herod, disguised as a mountain. And towering above the Dead Sea, the mountaintop fortress of Masada, where Jewish zealots of old took their own lives rather than submit to Roman conquest. The majestic ruins of a Roman city at Beit Sha'an in the Jordan Valley, destroyed and frozen in time by an 8th century earthquake. And on the Mediterranean coast, the Roman port of Caesarea. This was a center of culture, commerce, and government, kept alive by a mighty aqueduct. Alongside its chariot course lived the Roman procurator, Pontius Pilate, who condemned Jesus to the cross. In the land of the Bible, every flight leads us to a testament of faith. At Avdat, in the depths of the Negev desert, early Christians built upon foundations left by the ancient Nabateans. At Tabcha and Corsi on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, whispers of Jesus' miracles first spread. All across northern Israel, the remains of ancient synagogues testified to a Jewish Renaissance under Byzantine rule. Mountain passes mark the footsteps of pilgrims and pillagers who fought to claim this land. Crusader fortresses bear witness to this past. Places of rest and prayer dot the routes of the Mamluk caravans. An Ottoman stronghold guards a strategic crossroads of old. Abandoned ruins and historical gems that still throb with activity, like magnificent Acre, rubbing shoulders with the Mediterranean. And ancient Jaffa, now a colorful neighborhood of modern Tel Aviv. In Israel, past and present are one. Above all, Israel is a land of spirit, the birthplace of belief in one God, sacred to Jews, Christians, and Muslims. This is the land of the Bible, and Jerusalem is at its heart. A modern Israeli poet, Yehuda Amichai, once wrote, "Jerusalem is a port on the brink of eternity." For Jews, Israel has always been the promised land. Throughout the ages, they have prayed, "If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning." King David conquered Jerusalem 3,000 years ago and made it his capital. On Mount Moriah, King Solomon built a magnificent temple. Jews, Christians, and Muslims have all laid claim to this holy city. Almost half the human race sees Jerusalem as its spiritual capital. Every downward glance reveals the signs of religious belief. The touch of a prophet, a saint, or a Messiah. In the footsteps of Jesus, Christians have created places of prayer and solitude, like these monasteries hidden in the Judean desert. Many creeds share this land. On the slopes of Mount Carmel in Haifa, the Baha'i created a fabulous shrine and gardens. From the minarets in Muslim villages and cities, the muezzin calls the faithful to prayer in the name of Allah and His Prophet Muhammad. From every hilltop echoes a message of faith. In Nazareth, the magnificent Basilica of the Annunciation recalls the place where the angel came to Mary. Alongside the Sea of Galilee, humble churches recall the miracles performed by Jesus. And the words of the Beatitudes, spoken according to tradition at this very place. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. But it is Jerusalem, at the crossroads of crucifixion and resurrection, where people still come to find their faith. flying over Israel at 120 miles an hour, earthly pursuits also come into view. Despite all the hardships and the conflicts, despite all the challenges, the joy of life endures. And there are times when Israel seems like one big playground. The landscapes change in the twinkling of an eye. And the land of milk and honey pulsates with energy. From up here, a magic carpet lays below. A mosaic of people, places, adventures, with new horizons constantly coming into view. Like the promise of a never-ending story, one day in Israel melts into the next. Some flights turn into flights of fancy. Some journeys lead us to enchanted worlds just beyond the horizon. This is one of those flights. It's a story of textures and colors, light and shadow. Just lay back and enjoy it. Like all daydreams, this one too fades out with the coming of night. After dark, the land shimmers and shifts, like a starry night turned upside down. It's still the same land, all right. Still the same places where people do business or say their prayers. A land of glittering beacons beckoning toward the dawn. Cloaked in velvet, drenched by sun, and buffeted by the tides of history and faith. This is Israel as few people ever see it. On this aerial odyssey, from desert to sea, from mountain to valley, from north to south, the land is laid bare,